I got money on my mind. I'm just trying to get some dough. I ain't picking up my line unless it's money on the phone.
So what was the beginning of Xscape? And like, what was it originally? Like, did you have this 3-headed like monster vision for it, or how did it start off?
It all started by accident. It started from a failed Kickstarter campaign. That's where Xscape came from. So the name originally came, well, I've always had the name Xscape, but when I first started the company, it was a Kickstarter campaign selling fidget spinners. And so I had a product idea for fidget spinners, which just failed terribly. And I was like, well, this is not going to work. So I was like, let me really work on, improving my business skills to make sure this never happens again. And I'd already been selling like on eBay and Amazon. So I just figured, this was going to be easy, creating my own product and selling it on Kickstarter. I see these Kickstarter campaigns going well, but it's not as easy as it looks. So that failed, and I was like, well, let me keep going at this e-commerce thing and business thing. So just kept going at it, and building more and more relationships and skills in business and e-commerce, and it is where it is now. I wrote that my first book in May of 2019, and second in June, and by November of that year, I had my first author after starting the publishing company. So really I'm a firm believer in just executing fast, because you're not going to learn anything by a bunch of research. Just nothing is going to be a better teacher than just doing it. So, and yeah, now, you guys are authors and been doing pretty well out there, I must say. And so that's been great. And I definitely love publishing. It's interesting to help people bring their, make their books a reality, and, bringing in those physical books, helping people understand the different marketplaces and places that you can sell books, and, seeing sales come in from places where I'm just like, I don't even know how to even found a book. So yeah, e-commerce is definitely my joy right now. So,
hey, and I love, you got it, Jay.
No, I did want to just give a slight something we kind of referenced to earlier. You kind of touched on in as far as the publishing. I kind of wanted to tell people about how that happened. So Adrian introduced himself in the most unique form that I have ever seen thus far, and he taught me a lesson that day. He said, "I don't give out business cards. I give out books." And I was like, "What?" And he gave me his book. I still have it, and I was just like, "Wait a minute, hold on, this is different, And then we would from that, we led to the conversation of, okay, well, I do publishing. We were like, oh, well, we have a book. It's just an ebook right now. We're trying to actually get it in, hardback, hard copy format. And he was like, yeah, I do that. I can handle that. And that's how this whole thing got started. But it's crazy just how that happened, and the different lessons learned in that. Because I ain't gonna lie, that was the beginning of Adrian busting our head. He came with that book for the business card, and I was just like, man, we gotta work with this guy.
Hell yeah. He bust my head whatever he said there too. I give out books, not business cards. And speaking about the book, I want to talk about one of your books, really both of them if you'd like to. Profiting off of possibilities, though, man. That book there, man. Can we talk about what made you think about writing that book?
And so one of my biggest problems is that I want to share a lot of information with people, but sharing it with them one-on-one, it doesn't scale well because it takes so much time. Mm-hmm. And so a lot of my information, I just found it easier to put it in a book, specifically in those two books. Okay, how to grow a business, and then how to start thinking in terms of possibilities that you can profit from, and really just kind of help people share my the way that I think, so then hopefully it can help other people. So that's really where it came from. Just being very forward looking, looking at trends, asking those questions like I mentioned earlier. you know, where things going to be, you know, a while from now, you know. And I mean, I even talked about prior to all of this stuff happening with, you know, the thing that won't be named. I talked about how, you know, drop shipping, you know, people need to shift away from that model because you don't want the risk of not being able to get your inventory in time. And I mean, everything in there was just right on time. Cause I mean, I go back and read it myself just to make sure that I'm on track and, you know, being mindful of, you know, these trends that, you know, are right on the horizon. Like we're living in those times right now. So, I mean, yeah, that's really my mindset as far as why I wrote the books, and, you know, why I think, you know, hopefully people can, you know, benefit from them. So.
Yeah, y'all definitely pick them up.
I know I definitely haven't read Business Growth Secrets, but that's added to the short list for my read now. And I wanted to ask you, like, with that book and just in general, noticing through your journey, it seems like early on you had a real good grasp of like systems and automations in business. Can we speak more to like how new business owners can learn about systems and automations and like start getting those things laid out?
Yeah, I mean, I would say that when you're in business, it's really just asking a lot of questions, right? Because when you're growing a business, regardless of whether you have like no time and no money, or all the time and a lot of money, you still got to focus on the right things and have the right people and systems in place. And so being able to ask the right questions helps you create those systems. Like, what do I need to be focused on that's going to bring in some revenue and bring in people, like right now, like, and months from now? And what can I do that maybe needs to be done by somebody else instead of me trying to spend all of my time on doing that myself? And I mean, I have these conversations with people all the time as far as like to help me with my own business, as far as, okay, I have these pieces in place and they're all going well. What can I double down on, triple down on right now to give me the best return as far as both for my time and my money, to free up both more time and more money? And so, I mean, being able to step back and be like, okay, I need to remove myself from certain things. This is not what I want to focus on. I don't need to do this, as far as, you know, I don't have to do it all. Like I'd rather pay somebody to do it if I can find somebody that's going to be, you know, better at it than me. They're trying to ramp up and, you know, trying to be an expert at it. Because in the long term, while I may have learned something, how much time is that costing me? You know? Because I mean, people are experts, and at this point, because the world is so flat, labor is cheap. It's very inexpensive to hire somebody for a day. I mean, you could hire somebody for a day for less than it would cost to go out to eat at some places. And, you know, being able to hire somebody to work for you for an entire day that's valuable, because that may accelerate, you know, whatever path you were on for weeks. Like, and so, I mean, it's really just leveraging that time and trying to really just getting out of your own way to put experts in place.
I never looked at it like that either. And I just wanted to ask, like, what's your qualifications that you look for whenever you want to go into a partnership with somebody? It would feel like, okay, how this person is going to provide that value I'm looking for?
I mean, I don't even really have a whole lot of qualifications, like, because I mean, I hire people and I work with people a lot, right? And so really all I want to know is that you're going to actually do the work, and that you can actually just do the work and like just do the work. I don't even care. Like, if you don't know this stuff and I have to teach you how to do something, like, if you're going to do the work, I'll pay you. Like, it doesn't even matter. Like, I don't care about like any type of credentials. I don't care if you've ever done it before. Like, if you could do the work better than somebody else that's been doing it for 5 years, like, you got the job. Like, or if I'm looking for a partner and I see that you're passionate about this particular topic, like, I'll bring you on. Like, I'll give you equity. Like, what do you want to own? Like, Because the thing is I know I can't do it all myself.
Mm-hmm.
So I'd rather work with people that can, lighten my load. Because I'm not trying to do everything. I know I got a limited amount of time, a limited amount of energy. I want to go for a walk every day and be outside a little bit. I want to get enough sleep. I don't want to be stressed. And I know where I want to put my focus and, still spend time with people in my life and friends and things like that. So you got to make decisions. I mean, people especially people that are working a job full time, you're most likely going to be tired when you get home. You need to be looking right now to find people that are going to do the work for you, because you're going to be tired and you can't give it 6 hours once you get home from working 10 hours on another job. So you really need to be, if you want to be in business you can always invest and do other things, but specifically you want to be in business, you need to find experts as soon as possible. See, me, I'm good at finding things, because that's just finding answers. I'll go and find answers and then go find an expert and ask them, and then hire somebody to implement exactly what they told me. And so I just make my life easy that way. And I mean, same thing that other people can do. Find experts that can do it for you.
Man, it made me think about that quote I heard earlier today. Hiring people, decision makers instead of just direction takers, people that can getting advice and stuff for people who can really help you, not just you have to put all the brunt on yourself and now you just micromanaging somebody and all that good stuff like that.
I don't micromanage nobody. If I pay you to do a job, or if I'm working with you and you're a partner, me, I have enough. I design my business in such a way that I'm not really worried about one particular piece failing. You see what I'm saying? And so if that one person can't do a job that I hired them for, I have 2 people backed up to replace that person with, or if I don't like the way that they do it, and I may go back to them for another job as well. But I mean, I like to kind of to test things out. And as far as partnerships and things like that, I mean, you definitely have to bring those people, kind of vet those people really well, depending on the level of investment and how intense the relationship is going to be. As far as business is concerned, because you don't want to be left holding the bag and these people aren't going to do anything and they have equity. Some type of vesting is always good, or some type of results up front. And based on those initial results can determine, the level of the partnership or the joint venture, et cetera, that you guys go into.
So you said vesting, that's for a little more explanation on it. Vesting is a period of time, or kind of a trial period.
Well, yeah, it's pretty much that. And so essentially, instead of giving somebody complete ownership up front in whatever joint venture you guys have, and you can have it for both of you, where you say 2 people go into a business relationship, and in your agreement, you can have a statement where each person earns a certain amount of equity per month, but it's all only delivered at the end of that period. So then it could be a year, usually it's 2 years. And then at the end of that 2 years, they get that entire ownership. So then that way, nobody is getting that entire ownership up front. So then if that venture takes off, they can't come back to you having done no work and be like, you owe me some money because I have equity in this venture.
Man, I never knew about that shit.
I mean, it's pretty much how a lot of startups structure their, with venture capital and, when they bringing on founders and stuff, how they structure things. Because otherwise you get into a situation where your capitalization table that, describes the ownership of all your shares, you end up having all these people that own shares in your company and they haven't done anything. And so this eliminates a lot of that, because they, a lot of the shares aren't fully vested until the end of that 2 or 3 year period, et cetera. And then usually if they leave the venture, they get nothing. So that's usually how they're structured. And I mean, you can always compensate them, but I mean, you got to think about most business ventures in the beginning. It's all sweat equity if you don't have any money to pay them. So that's the trade-off. You could be, might in 2 years from now, you might have massive ownership in something that's worth zero or something.
But you have to put the work in to get it.
You got to put the work in to get it. So
I like that. I like that. That's hard. Gonna have to use that for the next company.
So Adrian, I had one more question for you with the technology company. I know what is the technology aspect of Xscape? Like what
is that Growthipedia?
Well, it's not mostly Growthipedia. Growthipedia is just an example, I guess, like an example of the technology that we do build.
Okay.
Most of the technology that we have is just in-house products that we own, whether it's like web apps, websites. And I would say that if it's anything like, because I mean, I still buy websites, apps, software, etc., improve them and just keep ownership, or I sell them. And so really that's the technology aspect. We don't take on a lot of client work now. I'm very particular about the projects that I do work on and that we do take on as a team, mostly because I have a very large project that I know is going to take a lot of my time, that I'm going to own. And so I want to be very focused on that. And then e-commerce takes a lot of time as well, as far as dealing with, inventory, manufacturing, imports and exports of products to different countries. And so I definitely I'm just, this year just going very well. Recently started a relationship with Walmart.
Hey.
And so that's been going surprisingly well. So
that's major.
Love to hear,
yeah,
man.
They got the infrastructure shit.
Hell yeah.
Yeah. So I mean, if you guys want to get something on Walmart.com, I can definitely help with that. In the US and Canada. So they just invited me to join Walmart Canada. So yeah, I mean,
and that's interesting to think, because a lot of people don't look at, but Walmart is basically a brick and mortar version of Amazon. And a lot of people don't realize like some of the things that happen in the background between Walmart and Amazon and what's currently happening. Like just the whole war between them. Like it's crazy.
Dude, if anybody knows about the war between Amazon and Walmart, they do not play nice together.
I can believe it. And just like, because you see Bezos
at war with everybody.
Hell yeah. Like you see Bezos though, like he has something like even the purchasing of Whole Foods where he can get some of these stores and stuff, but Walmart already had the leg up.
Yeah.
They have the infrastructure.
Shipping.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. And it's crazy now that they're inviting people like on like that. Yeah,
I mean, Walmart is definitely coming at Amazon, and I'm not saying that I don't want to jinx. All I'm going to say is that Walmart, if anybody can do it, Walmart is in a very great position. To put it in perspective, about 95% of the country lives within 10 miles of a Walmart.
That's wild.
Yep. That
consider
shipping.
We got 300 million people. That's a lot of opportunity. And having worked with Amazon for a long time and, dealing with Walmart, I mean, there's some kinks to be worked out. I mean, they're very hands-on as far as their responsiveness, but Walmart definitely has the distribution structure in place, and they're on point. Like they're getting there. So I mean, other than that, I mean, Shopify, they're trying to squeeze themselves in the middle, and they're doing a really good job at it, because they're going to be moving towards fulfillment as well.
Oh, really?
And so I mean, those are like my three, I guess not three, I guess four. So eBay, Amazon, Shopify, because I'm a Shopify partner, and then Walmart are like my mains in the US, and so. And they're all trying to, eat each other's lunches. So, and Shopify will come out with a fulfillment network. They've been building it in behind the scenes, and that'll be interesting as well.
I got money on my mind. I'm just trying to get some dough. I ain't picking up my line unless it's money on the phone.